Hola, hoy vamos a hablar de los complementos directos, los verbos saber y conocer, y un poco sobre Cervantes y su obra maestra, Don Quijote. Today we're going to talk about three topics. Direct object pronouns, direct objects and direct object pronouns, the two verbs for to know in Spanish, which are saber y conocer, and finally we're going to talk a little bit about Cervantes and his masterpiece, Don Quijote. Empecemos con los objetos directos. Let's begin with direct objects. What is a direct object? A direct object is something that receives the action of the verb and answers the question what or who. For example, I will call you. Who will I call? You. You is the direct object. I am reading the book. What am I reading? The book. The book is the direct object. But what we really want to learn is the direct object pronouns. So for example, if you already know that we're talking about the book, instead of saying I'm reading the book, I may just say I'm reading it. Now how do we say that in Spanish? The direct object pronouns in Spanish are me, me, which is for me, te, for you, lo, for him, or it if it's a singular masculine object, or also usted. And then la would be her, la llamo, I call her. It if it's a feminine singular object that you're talking about, and also usted if it's a female. Then the plural ones, nos would stand for us, os would stand for all of you, the informal plural you. Los would be them, for example, the papers, los papeles, them would be los. Ustedes, also for the plural you. And then las would be them if you're talking about something feminine and plural, like las revistas, the magazines, or las cartas, the letters. If I'm saying I'm writing the letters, to say I'm writing them, you would use las escribo. I write the letters. Okay, let's go through them one more time. Repite: me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. Okay, me conoces? What does that mean? Me conoces means do you know me? Who do you know? Me. Okay, te voy a llamar. Te voy a llamar. I'm going to call you. Now, as far as where you place the direct object pronoun, it's a little different than in English. In Spanish, you place the direct object pronoun right before the conjugated verb. Te voy is the conjugated verb, te voy a llamar. You also have the option, if there is an infinitive is a non-conjugated verb, if there is an infinitive, you can say voy a llamarte. All together, one little word, voy a llamarte. And they mean the same thing, te voy a llamar, voy a llamarte. Now if you want to say I'm not going to call you, the no comes before the direct object. No te voy a llamar. No voy a llamarte. Okay. But normally, it goes right in front of the conjugated verb. Compro means I buy. Yo lo compro. I buy it, meaning the book, for example, the textbook. El libro de texto, lo compro. I buy it. La compro, I buy the magazine. Compro la revista. Yo la compro. It goes right before the conjugated verb. La compro. Okay, nos invitas a la fiesta? Will you invite us to the party? Nos invitas a la fiesta? Are you going to invite us to the party? Os llamo más tarde. I'll call all of you later. Okay, os llamo más tarde. Los necesito, for example, los could represent, for example, los papeles, the papers. I need the papers. If we know we're talking about the papers, I would just say, yo los necesito. I need them. O yo las necesito, las cartas, the letters, las cartas. Yo las necesito. Bien, vamos a practicar un poquito más con los complementos directos. Here we're just going to use the for that mean for it or for them. Okay, now we're going to do an exercise that uses lo, la, los, or las to replace it or them in English. Okay, por ejemplo, an example. ¿Cómo prefieres las hamburguesas? ¿Con queso o sin queso? How do you prefer, there's a stem changing verb, prefiere. How do you prefer your hamburgers? With cheese or without cheese? Now when you're answering, you don't have to say las hamburguesas again. You can just say las. Las prefiero con queso. So las replaces las hamburguesas. It's shorter, right? Bien. Okay. ¿Cómo bebes el té frío? ¿Con azúcar o sin azúcar? How do you drink your iced tea? With sugar or without sugar? Now, which pronoun are we going to use? Lo, la, los, or las? El té frío is masculine and singular, so therefore you're going to use lo. ¿Cómo bebes el té frío? Lo bebo con azúcar. Bien, número 2. ¿Cómo prefieres las ensaladas? ¿Con aderezo francés o con aderezo italiano? How do you prefer salads? With French dressing or with Italian dressing? Aderezo means dressing. So just like the hamburgers, we're going to say las prefiero con aderezo italiano. Me gusta mucho el aderezo italiano. Muy bien. Número 3. ¿Cómo comes el cereal? ¿Con bananas o sin bananas? Just like the té frío, it's masculine and singular, so it's lo como, I eat it, con bananas, with bananas. Okay. ¿Cómo prefieres los huevos? ¿Revueltos o fritos? Los huevos is just going to be los, because it's masculine and plural. Los prefiero revueltos. I prefer them scrambled. ¿Cómo bebes el café? ¿Con azúcar, con leche, o solo? There's many ways to take your coffee. You can take your coffee with sugar and milk, with just milk. Solo means black coffee, just coffee. Café solo in Spain normally means like an espresso without any milk or anything. So, ¿cómo bebes el café? Lo bebo con leche. I drink it with milk. Café con leche. ¿Cómo comes las patatas al horno? ¿Con mantequilla o con margarina? How do you eat your baked potatoes? Patatas al horno. Las como con mantequilla, with butter. I eat them with butter, mantequilla. Y finalmente, número 7. ¿Cómo prefieres el helado? ¿Con fruta o sin fruta? Lo prefiero con fruta. Muy bien. A continuación, vamos a ver los verbos saber y conocer. Next, we're going to do the verbs saber and conocer. There are 2 verbs for to know in Spanish, saber y conocer. Let's see how they're conjugated. They just happen to both be irregular in the yo form. So let's go to saber. Repite, por favor. Sé. Sabes. Sabe. Sabemos. Sabéis. Saben. One more time. Yo sé. Tú sabes. Él sabe. Nosotros sabemos. Vosotros sabéis. Ellos saben. You see, it's irregular in the yo form. Conocer. Yo conozco. Tú conoces. Él conoce. Nosotros conocemos. Vosotros conocéis. Ellos conocen. Conozco. Conoces. Conoce. Conocemos. Conocéis. Conocen. Muy bien. Saber. When do you use saber? Saber is used for the ability to do something, to know how to do something, and also for information. Por ejemplo, ¿sabes esquiar en el agua? Do you know how to water ski? Sí, sé esquiar en el agua. Muy bien. O yo sé bailar el merengue. Repite, yo sé bailar el merengue. I know how to dance the merengue. Not really. Anyway, ¿sabes? Okay, so that's for ability to do something. Information. ¿Sabes dónde yo vivo? Do you know where I live? Sé tu número de teléfono. I know your telephone number. Those are information. Conocer is a little different. Conocer is used for knowing people, places, in the sense of being familiar with a place, knowing what a place is like, and to be familiar with, for example, to be familiar with a body of work or familiar with a topic. So let's look at some examples. ¿Conoces París? Do you know Paris? ¿Conoces París? Have you ever been there? Do you know what it's like? Okay, conozco Nueva York. ¿Me conoces? We had that one earlier. Do you know me? ¿Me conoces? Conozco a Isabel. And notice here that if I'm using Isabel as a direct object, because it's a person, I have to add the personal a. Conozco a Isabel. Llamo a Juan. I call Juan. Llamo a Juan. Conozco a Isabel. That's called the personal a. Okay? And then also, we are familiar with Frida Kahlo's work. Conocemos la obra de Frida Kahlo. We know the work of Frida Kahlo's work. Okay? Práctica, saber versus conocer. Saber, let's do some practice. Práctica. Yo ya, I already know where you live. So yo is the irregular form. Sé. Yo ya sé donde tú vives. I already know where you live. Usted, do you know my sister Gabriela? Usted conoce a mi hermana Gabriela? Do you know my sister Gabriela? Nosotros, we know Barcelona. We're familiar with it. Nosotros conocemos Barcelona. Ya, we already know that La Paz is the capital of Bolivia. Now those are some places, but we're not saying, do you know La Paz? Like, have you been there? We're saying, do you know that La Paz is the capital of Bolivia? So that's information. Information is saber. So it's nosotros sabemos que La Paz es la capital de Bolivia. ¿Y tú? Do you know la obra cubista de Picasso? Do you know the cubist work of Picasso? His cubist work? ¿Conoces? ¿Tú conoces la obra? Oh, it's not a question. It's, ¿tú conoces la obra cubista de Picasso? And finally, a question. Tu hermanito, your little brother, knows how to ride a bicycle, andar en bicicleta. Tu hermanito, now this is an ability. So ability to know how to do something is saber. Tu hermanito sabe andar en bicicleta. Okay? Now, te toca a ti. It's your turn. Escribe 4 preguntas. 2 preguntas con el verbo saber y 2 preguntas con el verbo conocer. You're going to write 4 questions, 2 with saber and 2 with conocer, that you'd like to ask a classmate. Okay, here are some examples. ¿Sabes hacer surf? Do you know how to surf? ¿Sabes hacer surf? ¿Sabes dónde está el Museo Picasso? Do you know where the Picasso Museum is? Está en Barcelona. It's in Barcelona. ¿Conoces Miami? Do you know Miami? ¿Conoces Miami? ¿Conoces el aeropuerto JFK? Do you know JFK? Have you been there? Are you familiar with it? Okay. JFK. Bien. Ok, a continuación vamos a hablar un poquito sobre Cervantes y Don Quijote. Ahora vamos a hablar un poquito sobre Miguel de Cervantes, uno de los escritores más importantes de España y del mundo. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Miguel de Cervantes, one of the most important writers of Spain and of the world. Ok, algunos datos sobre Don Quijote. A few facts about Don Quijote. DQ. Don Quijote se vuelve loco por leer libros de caballería. He goes crazy, se vuelve loco is crazy, because he's reading chivalrous novels, chivalrous books. And he begins to think that he's this great knight, un caballero andante. And he takes his squire, su escudero y amigo Sancho Panza, and they go off to have adventures in La Mancha part of region of Spain. One of the most important episodes in the book is when he sees the windmills and he thinks they're giants, so he attacks the windmills. He also has a lady that he serves. Su dama se llama Dulcinea. Her name is Dulcinea. She's really just a normal woman, but he thinks she's a fine lady. And su caballo se llama Rocinante. His horse is called Rocinante. There's a little picture of Don Quijote y Rocinante. He has his, tiene su lanza, he has his lance. Más sobre Don Quijote. Man of La Mancha es un musical sobre la historia de Don Quijote. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see Man of La Mancha. It's a musical about the story of Don Quixote. The most important song from this musical is The Impossible Dream, which really embodies the essence of Don Quixote. La primera parte fue publicada en 1605. The first part was published in 1605 y la segunda en 1615, 1615. For many people, this is the most important, or this is actually the first modern novel. And Cervantes se murió en 1616, el mismo día como Shakespeare. We talked about that before when we talked about Sant Jordi in Barcelona. They celebrate by giving flowers and books to commemorate Cervantes and Shakespeare. Okay, here on the map you can see where La Mancha is. It's really in the pretty much in the center of the country, el país de España, La Mancha, aquí. Okay, and then Don Quixote is many quotes or sayings come from Don Quixote. Here are just a few of the most common. Can we ever have too much of a good thing? The sky is the limit. To give the devil his due. Every dog has his day. Within a stone's throw of it. A closed mouth catches no flies. I'll turn over a new leaf. Birds of a feather flock together. Honesty's the best policy. Think before thou speakest. Bueno, ya estamos para hoy. En la próxima sesión vamos a repasar todo para el examen número 3. Gracias, hasta luego.